Commissioner Castro and Commissioner Menendez leading us and doing things for the community, and especially for supporting this organization. We're very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Welcome, everybody. Just to embarrass her a third time, the young lady holding up the camera to videotape, that's my assistant, Gabby. She got engaged a couple weeks ago, and her fiance is there with her also. We're here because I grew up in this theater back in the days in the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, and I saw most every movie that was special here at the Miracle Theater. I see a lot of folks in the audience that have the same hair color as I do, so I believe you probably saw a lot of movies here. I want a shout out to a friend of mine from childhood, John McCluskey. John, where are you? I know you're there somewhere. There you are, John. We've known each other since we're 5. Not only did we go to the youth center together, we ended up going to law school together, and love of movies, love of our community. Funny story before I go into some interesting trivia about the movie. The movie was premiered in June 1975, and the Miracle Theater was the theater in this area to see it. As you can imagine, nobody had ever seen a movie like this. And my mom brought me. My dad had passed away a couple years earlier, so it was just me and my mom. We lived a few blocks away. And the movie ended, it was still sunlight, it was the summer, and we went out, turned a corner, sort of where Starbucks is, and went down Salcedo, turned again. And as you can imagine, as you're turning, the sun hits you from a different angle. True story, when I turned the second corner, my shadow moved from left to right. I jumped and screamed. To this day, 49 years later or so, I still remember that moment, and I also remember my mother laughing. So, like I said, this movie came out June 1975. The book was written in February 1974, and it was a bestseller immediately. Steven Spielberg, you know from E.T. and from Raiders of the Lost Ark, he was 26 years old when he made this movie as a director. It was one of his first, if not his second movie ever made. The shark, when they were filming it, had a name. The name was Bruce the Shark, because Steven Spielberg's lawyer was named Bruce. This is the first motion picture ever filmed on the ocean. A lot of movies that were made with the ocean and the sea were on a Hollywood studio. This one was filmed in an actual ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, outside of Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, which created a lot of problems and a lot of delays. It's the first blockbuster movie of all time. Back in the day, when movies came out, even especially in the summer, it would be released in limited movie theaters around the country. So you'd have theaters in the Northeast, Boston, New York, hit California. Throughout the summer, they'd open little by little. This is the first time they opened up 400 theaters across the country, and immediately thereafter 300, so 700 movie theaters at once. And it exploded by word of mouth. And so much so that because of Jaws, we ended up having movies like Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because Hollywood realized that they found the goose that laid the golden egg. And that was summer blockbuster movies. Does anybody know perhaps the most famous line in this movie? Anybody know the line? We're gonna need a bigger boat. That was by actor Roy Scheider. See, I told you, we have the same hair color, right? I know what's going on here. Roy Scheider, the actor, the main actor, that wasn't in the script. He made it up the moment they were filming it. And immediately when it came out of his mouth, Steven Spielberg says, that's staying in the movie. And it's now listed as one of the top 100 movie lines of all time. It's iconic. There's a slap. Somebody gets slapped in the face in this movie. It's a real slap. But the person who did the slapping was not very good at it, so they had to film it 17 times. So when you see who gets slapped, you think that poor person, 17 slaps to get it right. It was supposed to take 55 days to film, but it took 159 days to film. It was budgeted for $4 million, and it ballooned to $9 million. However, the movie made $470 million worldwide, which today is equal to $2.2 billion. Now, I didn't know this, but maybe some of you did. you will see a license plate, an old license plate, and it's going to say Louisiana 73. And that's Steven Spielberg giving a nod to James Bond. And which movie took place in Louisiana in 1973? James Bond?
Live or Let Die.
Live and Let Die. And if you still doubt it, the first numbers on the license plate are 007. John Williams score. Does anybody know what the score sounds like? Come on, what does it? What? Da 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 da. When he played it for Steven Spielberg laughed. He thought John Williams was joking. You're kidding me. That's not it. But when he saw it with the action, he knew immediately that he did the right thing by listening to John Williams and not taking the matter into his own hands. The shark did not cooperate during filming. The shark refused to cooperate throughout most of the film. Steven Spielberg, obviously, studied art history, movie history. He incorporated techniques of Arthur Hitchcock. Arthur Hitchcock, it wasn't what you saw, it's what you didn't see that scared you. So the shark doesn't really appear until halfway through the movie. This is amazing. Steven Spielberg did not show up for the last scene, the last days of filming, which is the ending of the movie, because he feared retaliation by the crew. It was such a hard, demanding job that they had that he thought they were going to throw him off the boat, so he didn't show up. So the last scene was done by his understudies, and the crew filmed it. He wasn't anywhere around. Now, I'm really going to take you to the last point, is the movie came out in June of 1975. In October of 1975, an even more terrorizing shark appeared. And it focused strictly in New York City. And you would only see it attack on Saturday nights. Does anybody know what shark that is? Can I have the first image, please? The famous land shark of 1975 terrorized New York apartments. And it was cunning and it was intelligent. It would ring the doorbell. The person inside would say, "Who is it?" They would say, "Pizza delivery." And they go, "I didn't order pizza." Next image, they would open the door and they're gone. With that, enjoy. Thank you for being here. God bless and enjoy.